is emotional eating? It is eating instead of dealing with your feelings. I know emotional eating back, front, left, and right because emotional eating has affected me many times. And me being me, I wanted to learn everything I possibly could about it so I could eliminate it from my life. Emotional eating happens for many different reasons, but the main thing that we're gonna focus on today is that it's a suppressed emotion. As you know, everybody is very different, so some people go to drugs, some people go to alcohol, and some people like me and a lot of you go to food. You can tag an emotional eater as a closet eater or somebody who is eating all this food in hiding. They're embarrassed to show people how much food they're eating. Me, for example, something I would do often, I would know something is up if I came home and I walked, my refrigerator's right by the door that comes into my house. So I'd walk in the door and I'd stop at the refrigerator, open the refrigerator door, open the cheese drawer, and then minutes later, it was like a food blackout. I would find myself like hunched over the cheese drawer with a bag of shredded cheese, just like straight eating it, doors open, everything. No one else in the house, because I wouldn't want other people to see me doing this. I was trying to hide it as much as I could, but I would know when I did that, that something was up. I was not dealing with some emotion going on. And a lot of times in the society we live in, we're taught from childhood to suppress our feelings and not talk about them. We're taught that it's a very unlikable trait for somebody to admit that something's wrong or they're not doing well or something like that. So we're used to putting on a front and pretending like everything's always fine. Here's the reality of it all. Nobody ever can connect with somebody who's always fine. We're human and we have problems, and the way we connect with people and form deep relationships is when we can share our experiences and relate to each other. So if you met somebody and you said, hey, how you doing? And they said, everything's going really great, I'm eating well, my job's good, my relationships are good. Number one, you're gonna say bullshit. Number two, you have nothing to connect with them on. So if you went up to a good friend and you said, hey, how you doing today? And they said, hey, I'm having a really bad day, I got in a fight with my boyfriend, or the guy I like hasn't been texting me and you know, it's really stressing me out. You can relate to that. You've been in that situation in your life, or you might be in that situation right now. So you can connect with them on a deeper level and form a closer bond because of that. Whereas you couldn't with the person who just said, everything's fine, everything's great. Does that make sense? We really have this internal GPS signal that tells us when somebody is full of crap. And we might not even be tuned into it, but somehow subconsciously, you know when you're talking to somebody that you don't really want to be around them. You don't really want to hang out with that person. You instinctively are drawn to the people who are real, that are not putting on a front. It's just something that we just subconsciously pick up in other people's body language, style of speaking, movement, all those different things. So being emotional and letting your emotions show is not a bad thing. It's the best thing that you could be doing for your health, because keeping in your emotions is stressful. And it's gonna cause extra stress on your body, which is gonna make it harder to lose weight, harder to be healthy, harder to be fit, and most importantly, harder to progress and be your best self. Another telltale trait of emotional eating is eating until you're stuffed. So if you ever find yourself eating until you're way too full, it's a sign of emotional eating. I used to find myself at networking events. You know, most people feel uncomfortable at a networking event, so you start eating or you start drinking to feel more comfortable. You feel stuffed and you're like, why did I do that? You probably get that same feeling when you're leaving a restaurant and you're around a bunch of people that are not in line with who you are. So if you're having to act like somebody you're not around these people, or lie about your true feelings, you might be eating a lot of extra food to stuff that away. You might eat till you're way too full. That's when you want to really address this and know that you're emotional eating and that you're stuffing down some sort of feeling that you're having. It may be something huge, like you hate your job, or you fell out of love with your boyfriend or your husband. Or it might be something really little, like somebody's been nagging you to do something and you just don't want to do it, but you don't know how to tell them no. No matter the level, it's important to address it, because otherwise it'll just keep nagging you and end up putting a lot of excess weight on your body. Now you know more about emotional eating, but we've really barely scratched the surface. With what you know, what can you do about it? You can write down on a piece of paper your true feelings, the feelings that you've been stuffing for a while. Sometimes you just don't even know where to start. Just get out a notebook and a pen and just write. Write everything that comes to your mind. Just write and don't stop yourself. Let yourself go off on tangents, just go. Just keep writing and writing and writing. Anything that comes to your mind, and you'll be amazed the stuff that comes out. Once you find out what's really upsetting you, you can begin to address it and find solutions to those problems. This really is the bread and butter of what I do in my Fit and Fearless coaching program. We get down to the real emotional state of why you're doing what you're doing, why you keep going to the food, and why it's holding you back from reaching those goals that you want. So be sure to enroll in the program if you feel like this is something that's really affecting your life and you need someone else's help to get you through it. It's that time again. I want to hear from you. What did you think of today's chapter? What did you find really helpful? What did you find interesting about today? Of course, make sure you check in on Facebook. I'll see you later. Thanks for watching. Bye.